Starting video transmission, and we are live. How's it going, everybody? We are live tonight to review Monday Night Raw, April 24th, 2023. A very newsworthy show. I want to thank y'all for joining me tonight. Heck, I don't even have it in my notes about CM Punk, but that was the big news before the show started tonight. First off, it started off with the rumor that Triple H was going to make a big announcement on Raw tonight, and then the news that CM Punk was backstage before the show started kind of took it all over. And so before Raw even began, you just had a lot of hype going into the show. But the major thing tonight was over here. I'm trying to get my finger the right way. Alright, I'm officially stupid. Right over there. The new World Heavyweight Championship belt that Triple H revealed tonight on Monday Night Raw. The champion will be crowned at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia on May 27th, 2023. I have no details on how they're going to crown a champion. Triple H didn't go into that. I imagine the details will be worked out after the draft, because he also announced tonight that whatever brand drafts Roman Reigns, the belts are staying with Roman Reigns. He's not going to be traveling. He's not going to be on Raw and SmackDown, which he's never on Raw anyway. He's just going to be exclusive to that brand. So it kind of sounds like that we're going to go back to an actual hard brand split, and we're not going to have the sharing of people on shows like we had tonight with the Usos and the LWO being on Raw, two SmackDown teams having a match on Raw. And so it sounds like we're going back to a hard brand split, except for the women's tag team champions. And that, we're going to get into the show proper, and it kicked off with Cody Rhodes. He got a great reception. The Chicago crowd gave us probably the loudest whoa we've ever heard in an arena. It was loud at WrestleMania, but in an arena setting, I think this was the loudest I've ever heard it. And, I think we all kind of thought he was dead after WrestleMania just because of how bad the ending was. We all kind of thought he wasn't going to be as over, but he's still getting great receptions out there, and he's still the top babyface for WWE. He shows off pictures of Brock Lesnar kicking his ass and then starts to strip in the ring. And you're like, okay, where's he going with this? And then he shows the scar from the surgery he had on his torn pec last year, which actually the match he had against Seth Rollins was in the same building that Monday Night Raw was in tonight. I think it was the Allstate Arena. I think that's the one in Chicago. He dares Brock Lesnar to put another scar on him. Then Finn Balor comes out, and him and his crappy theme music try to ask Cody Rhodes to join the Judgment Day, and Cody declines, says he doesn't need them. He just is accepting, that he got screwed over at WrestleMania, basically, and that he doesn't need the Judgment Day. This leads to them making a match later in the night with Cody versus Finn Balor, but we'll get to that whenever it pops up. After that segment, we had the LWO versus the Bloodline. LWO has the Viva La Raza sound clip from Eddie Guerrero's theme. We heard it at WrestleMania when Rey Mysterio came out, and now it's in LWO's theme. Let's hope Chavo Guerrero doesn't hear it and get mad about it. Super awesome spot in the match where Cruz and Joaquin Phoenix did two Tope Con Hilos onto both Usos on the outside of the ring towards the ramp. It was freaking crazy looking. And then Santos Escobar on the other side where the announce table is, he hits a suicide dive onto Solo Sikoa. And then after that, we go to commercial. Cruz hits a beautiful Phoenix splash on Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso breaks up the pin. It was a great near fall. I used to think Seth Rollins had the prettiest Phoenix splash, but Cruz del Toro, I believe that's how you say his name, he has a great one, dude. Solo hits a Samoan spike out of midair to Cruz. Then the Usos followed up with the 1D for the win. Great match. I wish it was longer. It it went through one commercial break, and then after the commercial, kind of finished pretty fast. So I wish it would have went longer because I think it would have made for a better showcase for the LWO. But they still looked good here, especially competing against the longest tag team champions of all time and having a good match against them. But I feel like if this would have went longer, it would have done more to help get LWO over. And I like the little push that they're getting right now, especially being associated with Rey Mysterio. I mean, there's nothing but good that can come from that. I mean, Rey Mysterio is always going to be over, you know? Checking right now, just making sure. Here we go. Making sure I was live. I was going to be like, damn, talking for 6 minutes and then I don't end up being live. But after the match, the Usos cut a promo promoting the tag title match on Friday. We are done with that segment. Damage Control interrupts Bianca Belair's promo. A 6-woman tag team match is made official for later in the show. After that, Sami Zayn is backstage trying to make Jey Uso see the light that Roman Reigns is using him and that he doesn't need, the bloodline. He's his own person. It's the same stuff that they've been doing since WrestleMania and even before that. A Trish Stratus video package recapping last week. And then it has a backstage interview with Trish Stratus, trash talking Becky. This was kind of just like a string of backstage segments that weren't bad, but they were forgettable. Then the Street Profits squashed the Hurt Business. This feels like the last time we're going to see the Street Profits, man. I got to be honest. I think Angelo Dawkins probably ends up going to SmackDown and Montez Ford stays on Raw with Bianca. And with that, we are already through the first hour of the show. It started off with the Cody promo and then a good, decent match, and then it was quick segment, then squash match. So at the top of the hour, Triple H reveals the brand new World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, it's right here to my left. It's in the thumbnail. It's all over the internet. I don't think it's on WWE Shop yet to buy, but dude, it's tempting. I got that Intercontinental Championship right there, and then you can't see it, but on my chair over there, I got the WWE Championship. Yeah, you guys can't see it. The camera's too high. Hi, Raj. How's it going, man? Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing today? Did you enjoy Raw? I say, good to see you back, man. I don't do these Raw live streams that often anymore, so it's good to see you. But the reason I have that Intercontinental Championship and the WWE current championship is because I think those are two beautiful designs. And, I was never a fan of the big gold belt. I actually thought that belt was kind of ugly. And so I like this new take on it. I like the logo in the middle. It's smaller than the big gold, but it's still a big freaking belt. I mean, that was the one thing I noticed whenever he revealed it, is that belt was freaking huge. But it's not stupidly big, because I can't get the other word out. But yeah, I like it. I like the design a lot. My summer holidays is here. Well, man, I hope you have a good time with it. I say, well, how's it going so far? But yeah, wow, where was I at on that? Triple H says that Roman Reigns negotiates that he has little title defenses, and then, as I mentioned earlier, that whatever brand Roman Reigns gets drafted to, that is going to be where the belts are, the Universal and WWE Championship. Now, I don't know if this means Roman's going to maybe have it as one belt now, hopefully. But I'll tell you one thing. It makes you wonder if the reason King of the Ring got canceled is because that they're going to do a tournament to crown a WWE champion or World Heavyweight Champion at Night of Champions. Because they were originally going to do the King of the Ring show, and then, it got changed suddenly, and I'm starting to think this is the reason why. because they're going to do a tournament. They didn't want to call it King of the Ring, so they just changed the name, and I think that's what's going to end up happening. I was telling one of my friends earlier that I would like to see like a fatal four-way match. Roman will never lose the title. It's starting to feel like it. I would like to see a fatal four-way match with Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, because those were the three guys that kind of carried WWE through the pandemic. So I'd like to see them. And then I would like to see a wild card like Montez Ford in there. And I think that match would be a freaking banger. Raj, do you think that match would be awesome? But yes, that's what I want to see. If they end up doing a tournament and it ends up being a one-on-one final, that's fine with me. Hopefully AJ Styles is back for this tournament, because a final with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins I think would be incredible. There's a bunch of different possibilities depending on how the draft plays out, which hopefully this week on the Trainwreck podcast, me and Drew will be doing a mock draft. I gotta find the right website to do the mock draft, but if I can find one and it looks good on stream, then we'll do a live stream of our drafting. One thing I'm really curious about is the lineage of the WWE Championship, because you don't think they're ever going to get rid of the WWE Championship, right? I mean, it's been around for 60 years. You've had all the all-time greats hold it, John Cena, Stone Cold, The Rock. So you're not going to get rid of that lineage, because, I mean, whenever you have the new guys win the belt and it's like, oh, he won the same belt that Bruno Sammartino held for 8 years, and the crap they always say about the WWE Championship. So it makes me think that the Universal Championship is going to be retired, and that the lineage of the WWE Championship is going to be kind of wonky now with Roman Reigns. I don't know, it's very confusing how they're going to do this, because I don't think they're going to get rid of the WWE Championship. So I imagine the Universal Championship's going to be retired. I don't know if that means Roman Reigns is just going to be referred to as the WWE Undisputed Champion, and they just drop Universal from his name. I don't know. There's a lot that they have to sort out, and I mean, just thinking about it makes my head hurt. So we'll see how it goes, man, because, yeah, it's confusing me how they're going to sort this all out. I mean, when you're looking back at the history of the championship, you're going to have a really weird period. Who will defeat Roman Reigns? Either if Cody Rhodes gets drafted to SmackDown, because I think Roman's going to stay on SmackDown, then Cody. If not, Braun Breaker. Those are the two options, I think. I think Roman ends up dropping it at SummerSlam, just because I don't know if they can keep this bloodline story fresh for another year till next year's WrestleMania, especially when they're showing the cracks, right now with Jey Uso and all that. I feel like they can't keep that going for another year. So it's going to be interesting to see. But that was kind of the peak of the show, was him announcing the belt. I mean, it got everyone hyped, and I mean, after that, it was kind of hard to pay attention to the show, because you're going on Twitter, seeing everyone's reaction, you're looking at stuff on the wrestling news websites. I mean, it was hard to pay attention. Like, right after this segment, you had a Judgment Day backstage segment, and I was looking at Twitter the whole time, and I didn't really care. I know Dominic's promo sucked. Damian didn't really say anything, so I didn't really care, because I was seeing everyone's reaction. Right after that, it went to commercial break, and when we got back from commercial, you had a Bronson Reed video package. Made this dude look like $1 million. Bronson Reed's going to be huge if they don't screw him up, which, I mean, I guess is the case you could say with a lot of these wrestlers is, hey, he's going to be great if you don't screw him up. I mean, you can say the same thing about Braun Breaker, but the way that Bronson Reed came across in this, because I was not a fan of his first go around in WWE, and whenever he came back, I was like, I feel like this is Triple H just bringing him back to bring him back, but he's won me over. this last couple weeks, especially that match he had with Bobby Lashley. And I think he was sick during it. And that kind of just showed that this dude's a freaking beast. You know, if he's going out there and he's not feeling good and still having a match that great. I'm excited for Backlash because I thought Bronson Reed and Bobby Lashley had a good match, and Austin Theory's a good wrestler. So we'll see how this all goes, man. But yeah, great video package. Damage Control's theme song really sucks. Liv and Raquel Rodriguez are revealed to be Bianca's partners. Liv takes a lot of heat in this match. She got her ass kicked a lot. And especially when you're coming off the peak of a new championship being announced, and then a boring backstage segment, and then, yeah, a video package, and then you're having a match where the main thing going on is the champion getting her ass kicked. It just made for a very boring part of the show. And eventually Liv makes the hot tag to Raquel. She cleans house. And one point during the match, whenever Bayley and Raquel were interacting, I was thinking they would have a freaking absolute barn burner of a match. I don't know why that just popped into my head during it. Dakota Kai took a rough bump from Raquel on the outside. It looked like her face bounced right off the concrete, so we'll see if she's missing any teeth later. Raquel throws Liv Morgan from the inside of the ring to the outside onto Bayley and Dakota. That spot was freaking awesome. That kind of made up for the match being boring for most of the time because you had a crazy spot like that, which made it exciting. Bianca hits the KOD on Bayley for the win. And she will defend the Raw Women's Championship against Io Sky at Backlash, which should be a good match. But I also said the same thing about Bianca and Asuka, and I thought that match sucked. So hopefully it's better. I think Solo will win against Roman Reigns to continue the storyline of Bloodline. I think maybe a few years down the road, eventually you're going to see Solo and Roman feud, but Solo's still new, and they're doing a great job at getting him over. But I feel like he still needs to be seasoned a little, if you catch my drift. So I don't think Solo's ready to have a big program with Roman yet. I mean, the dude hasn't even won a championship on the main roster yet. So let's see how it goes. Austin Theory comes out. He really needs to shave. Not saying my beard looks good or anything, but his beard is really shitty. It's all thin right here, and then you got this stupid crap right here. He really needs to shave it, because I think he would look a lot better without it. Bobby Lashley comes out and interrupts Austin Theory. Lashley puts over and buries Theory in the same minute with his promo. All I'm gonna say is Bronson Reed should win the U.S. belt, and Bobby Lashley should be going after the World Heavyweight Championship. Segment ends in a brawl. It was pretty much a nothing segment. It was just kind of hyping up the match. Like I said, I hope Bronson Reed wins, and I kind of hope that Theory losing the belt kind of leads to a character change. Mustafa Ali versus Chad Gable. I think Mustafa Ali's new gimmick is stupid. I really like Ali. I think he is one of the best wrestlers on that roster. I mean, if you want to see a freaking banger of a match, Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy, I want to say it was on the 4th of July, 2018, on 205 Live. That match is freaking incredible. It was one of my top matches of the year. Whenever it happened, that match is hard-hitting, is physical. I believe it was a street fight. And to see where Mustafa Ali went from having that, and then when he debuted on the main roster and he was pretty much immediately in the title picture, to this stupid hippie gimmick that he has, and he's pretty much having a nothing match with Chad Gable. It's just, they're doing the match because it was Mustafa Ali's hometown of Chicago, basically. Another loss for Chad Gable, which pisses me off because Chad Gable should be competing for a mid-card championship, and he's not. He's losing every week on Raw. And the dude stole the show at WrestleMania. When he hit that Chaos Theory on Braun Strowman, that was freaking incredible. And you think you would capitalize on that, but no, they really haven't done anything. The thing that's good since Triple H took over is Chad Gable's pretty much on TV all the time, but he never wins. But the thing that keeps him over is that he's always having great matches, and then he's having good segments with Otis in the back because him and Otis are a great team. So, I don't know. I wish they would do more with Chad Gable. I feel like that's every wrestling fan's opinion, that they should do more with Chad Gable, but they really should. You want any... I don't really know what you're saying there, man. If you want to live in America, that's freaking awesome, but I'm going to need a little more clarity on that question. Cody Rhodes versus Finn Balor. So I saw these two wrestle in the main event on Raw live, front row, the show after the Royal Rumble. And this match did not come close to that. That match they had in Tulsa was freaking amazing. This match, it was weird because the first, part of it was just them exchanging holds and then doing drop downs and leapfrogs and going back into holds. I don't know, it was just a weirdly put together match. And then after all that, they're about to do the same drop down leapfrog again, but when that happens, Cody Rhodes leaps over Balor and goes shoulder first into the top rope and starts acting like he hurt his pec. And then that's when Finn Balor kind of starts targeting the pec and starts targeting the ribs of Cody, because Cody had that tape you wear when you're hurt. I can't remember what it's called, but he starts wearing that tape, and so Balor starts targeting that. Match starts to pick up a little bit. Cody Rhodes hits a beautiful disaster kick and gets a 2 count. Then he goes for a Cody cutter. Finn Balor counters it into a 1916, which was freaking awesome. Super kick into a Cody cutter for a good near fall. Then Cody hits the pedigree and a crossroads for the win. I said, maybe I'm a little biased because I saw the match live in person and I thought it was way better than this. Not saying this match sucked. It's just really weird. It was a really weirdly booked match. I think Randy Orton will win against Roman Reigns. I don't think Randy Orton's going to be ready anytime soon, man. From what I was reading around WrestleMania, I think we're still a long way from seeing Randy Orton, and I don't think he's going to be in a title picture when he comes back, just because I think they're going to give him a little time to get his feet wet. Whenever he comes back, I think he'll still be in a tag team with Matt Riddle just to ease him in. He's not going to have to do as much work for a tag team match. I mean, Randy Orton, how old is he? He's 43, just turned 43 at the beginning of this month. So, I mean, he's not a spring chicken, I mean, the older your body gets, the harder it is to heal. So, I don't think Randy Orton's going to be in the main event scene whenever he comes back. I'm sorry, but I just don't see it. Seth Rollins comes out and makes his plans clear about wanting to be the World Heavyweight Championship. Crowd chants, "You deserve it," and Seth says they're only saying that because he's a Bears fan, which I thought was really funny. He mentions that he should be a top champion because, unlike everyone else in the company, Roman Reigns hasn't beaten him on this dominant run. This really got the crowd hyped, and it was a really good, passionate promo from Seth Rollins. And I think he's probably the front runner to be World Heavyweight Champion. Because, I mean, the dude is crazy over right now. I mean, you can't even get through a promo of his without the crowd singing his theme song. And he's putting on great matches, I mean, Seth Rollins is great. The thing is, him as a champion babyface hasn't worked in the past. But we'll see how it is with this gimmick. I feel like it won't be a long title run. Like, I feel like he would drop it at SummerSlam. And I feel like that's a good enough time for him. Reward him for all the great work that he's been doing, but I don't think he needs to be champion for a long time. Especially when you have a guy on the other show that's been champion for almost 3 years. I feel like, I'm not saying play hot potato with the belt, but I'm saying I don't want anyone to hold it for like a year. MVP and Omos come out to interrupt Seth Rollins, and MVP basically says he made this match for Omos because beating someone like Seth Rollins is going to make Omos a star, which is really a great point. I was shocked when Austin Theory defeated John Cena. I was too, man. I actually thought John Cena had a great shot at winning the U.S. belt, and then, this is when Jay White was rumored to come to WWE. I really thought there was a chance John Cena would win it and then lose it to Jay White. But after MVP says that he made the match to make Omos a star, which was a great point, Seth Rollins says he's not scared of Omos and that'll make him famous when he beats him. Shout out to The Undertaker for the make you famous line. I'm a fan of Omos from what I've seen of him outside the ring and interviews and stuff. I've seen interviews with him and Denise Salcedo, and then whatever that late night show he was on, he showed a lot of personality. I mean, Omos seems like a really cool dude. He seems like a dude you'd want to have a beer with, even though it would probably take like 30 to get him hammered, just like Andre the Giant. But Omos seems like a cool dude. So I say, fuck it. Make this match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Book it, Triple H. Do that at Backlash. We don't need it in Saudi Arabia. We don't need the Blood Money pay-per-view. Just do it in Puerto Rico. Omos versus Seth Rollins World Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are backstage. KO basically tells Sami that they need to beat the Bloodline on Friday, or otherwise it kind of invalidates everything that they did. Matt Riddle said some stuff, but my TV was kind of going out. Please try peanut butter masala. I've had masala before. It's spicy, right? I've had it in curry lentil soup, and it's really freaking good. Brock Lesnar returns next week. Hopefully we'll finally get an explanation from him on why he kicked Cody Rhodes' ass. Because, they've said it on commentary before. Like, oh, it was about placement at WrestleMania, which was really stupid. So hopefully we get the words from the guy's mouth about what actually is his reasoning for not liking Cody Rhodes. But we'll see. Raw next week is in Fort Worth, Texas, which is right outside of Dallas. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, it's a cheese? Sounds like something I would like, actually. Maybe on some bread or something. I bet you that would be really good. Where are my notes? I lost my place for a second. Rey Mysterio versus Damian Priest. This was the main event. We're already at the main event, bro. Rey comes out, and these two take turns taking control of the match. It was just a really back and forth match. It was really cool to see. Rey hits an awesome Hurricane Rana off the top rope. It's crazy to see a dude like Damian Priest that's like, 6'5", probably 230, 240, take a freaking Hurricane Rana where he's flipping his body, And Damian Priest, he's a little older. He's 40 years old, and like I said, he's billed at 6'5", 250 pounds, and I believe it. So, to see someone like him flip like that for a Hurricane Rana, it just shows what kind of athlete he is, and it's crazy. I think Brock will join the Bloodline. I think there's too much bad blood between them, dude. It would be interesting to see, though. See Brock get one of those tribal tattoos like Roman and the Usos have. That'd actually be really funny. And then he's like trying to infiltrate the Bloodline from within, like KO did with the New Day a few years ago. That'd be interesting to see. lot of really great counters in this match between Ray and Damian Priest. Just Razor's Edge counter by Ray kicking Damian as hard as he could in the back. And then when Damian is recovering from that, Ray goes for a chop block, and that was a really great spot. This match was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. I wasn't too thrilled that this was the main event. It made sense since they were building up to Bad Bunny, but I still wasn't all that crazy about, this being the main event. Match ends when Damian Priest throws a chair at Rey Mysterio's face. So this match ended in disqualification. Rey Mysterio is the winner. Then Damian Priest starts to beat up Rey Mysterio, and that causes Bad Bunny to come out with a kendo stick. And he comes down to the ring and starts beating the shit out of Damian Priest. And I thought Bad Bunny was going to put Priest through the table. I don't know how he was going to do it because there's no way he could have lifted his ass up. And we've seen athleticism from Bad Bunny, but I don't know if he's athletic enough to jump from the ring to the announce table. But that's what I thought was going to happen. Because I was like, oh, he's going to get payback for the Raw to WrestleMania. But no tables were broken. Sad night. Bad Bunny announces it is going to be him and Damian Priest in a street fight at Backlash. With what we've seen from Bad Bunny, I think it's going to be a good match. I don't think we're going to see a Bunny Destroyer, though. I think Priest is too damn big. Notes for the show, the only thing I have that's not really related to anything is I thought Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves had a great night on commentary. Kevin Patrick really irritates me. I don't think he's a good wrestling commentator. I think he's a great soccer commentator, but I don't think he's a good wrestling commentator. He's really boring. And he's just boring in general, really. He's on After the Bell now with Corey Graves, and they just don't have good chemistry to me. Especially, I don't know if any of you guys have ever listened to After the Bell, but before Corey had Vic Joseph on there, and they had great chemistry. I'm hoping with the draft that we'll see an announcer shakeup. I would like to see Michael Cole and Wade Barrett stay the same, but I would like to see Vic Joseph get drafted to Raw and Kevin Patrick go to NXT. Because, what's more important, Raw or NXT? I think about 2 million people more watch Raw more than NXT, so. But yeah, that's one thing I hope happens in the draft is that we see a commentary shakeup. No offense, but I know a lot of people don't like Vic Joseph. I actually think he's a really good commentator. Go back and listen to his commentary during Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series 2019. Listen to, maybe it's just Rey Mysterio matches, but Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles for the U.S. title on Raw. I can't tell you the date, but I think it's when Rey won the title. And Vic Joseph was really good on commentary that night. I think Vic Joseph got overpressured being on the main roster and having to deal with Vince. You're going from Triple H to Vince. And he never really had that much of a run in NXT before he got to the main roster. Now he's been in NXT for a while, so I think it's time to call him back up and see how he is with Triple H. One thing I want to address too is the rumors that Vince McMahon rewrote the show. Man, y'all gotta stop falling for this Vince McMahon stuff. Because all these websites are gonna do is, major. But Fightful is the one to trust. When I was looking at Fightful Select's Raw Rundown earlier, they said that the card was the same as it was the day before. So that's not Vince changes. That's according to their Patreon post. These websites, what they're trying to do is get clicks from you. And they know you're going to click on Vince McMahon rewrite stuff. It's just a ploy that they're doing to try to get you to click on it. So don't fall for it. Until I hear Sean Ross Sapp say that Vince McMahon was backstage rewriting everything like how it was at the Raw after WrestleMania when Vince was actually in Gorilla, I don't believe anyone else. And especially now that this draft is coming up and Triple H just introduced a new belt, I'm more confident that Triple H has control over stuff than I was last month after WrestleMania. So y'all just don't fall for the Vince news. Yeah, ignore it. That's what I'm saying. Ignore it. But that was Monday Night Raw. Dude, I deleted my notes as I went along, but I should have screen shared them so you could have seen how long my notes were. I about wrote a book because I tried to not miss any details. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. Raj, I appreciate you for joining the live stream, man. It's good to hear from you. I need to get Thomas back in here. I haven't really heard from him since I started doing YouTube again. So, but yeah, we got the draft starting this Friday. I think it's a pretty safe bet that Roman and the Bloodline are going to stay on SmackDown. I'm curious if Cody ends up going to SmackDown. I think Seth Rollins is going to stay on Raw, which means Becky will as well. And yeah, it's just interesting what shakeups are going to do. I think Drew McIntyre goes to Raw. I think Austin Theory and Gunther swap places. What else? I think the Street Profits get split up. There's a lot that I think is going to happen. I could do like my own predictions of what I think is going to happen. But me and Drew, like I said, we're going to try to do a mock draft this week on the Trainwreck Podcast, episode 9. And then we're also going to talk about the NFL draft. Which the NFL draft, dude, I really don't know much about it. Other than I think Bryce Young's going number 1. You know, from what I'm reading, the draft class kind of sucks. So I'm hoping that my team, the Cowboys, kind of trade down and not really spend picks on players that aren't worth it. I like to see the Cowboys kind of take the KC Thunder approach and stockpile draft picks. Let's see, is there any late breaking WWE news? Real quick. Let's go to Sean Rossap. Yeah, no late breaking news. Other than, oh, this is funny right here. Let me pull this up for y'all. Window capture. Okay, it may not. No, that's not it. Remove. That was my desktop picture. It's a picture of CM Punk standing next to the new World Heavyweight Championship. It's freaking funny. Go out of your way to look at it. I just saw that and I was like, oh, that's good. That is really good. Yeah, I'm still getting used to streaming again. I was getting these settings down and now I'm kind of back to being a novice at it. But anybody got any questions for me about thoughts about the draft or anything? Thoughts about the show? I thought it was a good show. It kind of helped that I started the show about 40 minutes late because I took a shower and stuff right when the show started and I recorded it, and that helped to skip through all the commercials. The only thing that was hard was, staying off Twitter and stuff because I didn't want the Triple H stuff spoiled for me. I have 0 girlfriend. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight. Like I said, it was a good show. There was definitely a lot of on it. I could have done without the 6-woman tag just because not feeling Damage Control right now. And then you had all those useless backstage segments. And I took some of them out because you had pretty much like 3 or 4 Bloodline backstage segments, and they were all kind of useless, really. That was one thing. A lot of throwaway segments, but the good was good. Cody Rhodes, any segment he's involved in is good. The Triple H announcement, the main event was really freaking good. Yeah. I mean, it was a decent show. But like I say, I also helped that and sit through the full 3 hours. And that's why I did a review tonight instead of doing a live watch along. Because, dude, it's hard to sit here and watch Raw in one spot for 3 hours. I got to get around and move. That's the one thing when I do those live watch alongs, my back freaking hurts by the end of it. So I'm like, yeah, I gotta get up and move. So I'm like, I can lay on the couch and type notes and stuff and make it a little easier. And who knows, maybe I can bump some viewers off Fightful, if I pop up in a related search. But y'all, I'm gonna call it the night. Trainwreck Podcast. It'll be out Thursday, episode 9. It's gonna be probably me and Drew again, because don't really know what's going on with Adam and Curtis. And then we'll, like I said, be talking about the WWE draft and then NFL draft, talking about both of our teams. So, Raj, thank you for joining me. Thank you to anyone that watched it tonight. If anyone watched this in the future, comment that your feet tickle when you walk